The conventional way to do it, we've been using like sandpaper, flap wheels, grinding wheels, things like that. What it does is it leaves really deep grinds in the metal that have to be filled before you can do airbrush work or background or anything like that. So that it adds a lot of steps to it. You have to fill it with clear, then sand it back, and it's another process. These wheels, they're made by Pearl. They're impregnated with I don't know what, but it works. But it'll leave the effect of a grind without leaving the deep mark. So it leaves about a 400 grit finish, so it's ready to spray. You can airbrush right on top of it without the adverse effects of the old school way of grinding. And they're easy to use. I'm gonna feather this. It's gonna be kind of loud. But it's very little pressure when you do it. We're just going to grind a random pattern on this piece right here, and then we'll unmask it and go. Are you guys ready? If you have a variable speed grinder where you slow it down, it works a lot better. We don't have one of those. But
can we feel
essentially, it? Yeah, feel that, please.
How does it feel?
You feel it a little bit.
A little bit, but not like a grinder.
Right.
You know, so I mean, you can. That's probably, you know, one coat of clear, and a lot of what you're feeling is residue off of here too. When you wax and grease it, some of that'll come off, and it'll be a little bit less. I was going to show you guys that. That's the main reason in using these pads. You've got a couple of different grits of pad that you can use there. This was the fine grit, the coarser, recommended for harder metal, steel, stainless steel, things like that. The fine is usually pretty good for just straight aluminum. I was going to show you guys some other effects right quick on this beveling, and then I believe Kyle's going to cover these in candy for you. I'd already done some effects on this one prior to masking it off. You can see some of the sanding effects where we did a checkerboard and a rivet pattern around the edge. What I'm going to use on this now is a 5,000 grit Trizac pad paper to create a beveled effect around the edge. It's very little pressure. I'm just going to go in about a 45-degree angle, pulling off of my tape, not pushing into my tape so that I don't roll it up. It's pretty quick. We can run down the edge of that pretty quick and just change the direction of the grain of the metal.
That's 5,000 grit?
Yes, sir. 5,000 grit. Trizac pad. It's got a little pad on the bottom of it.
Now, did you use water to spray that?
I used a little soapy water just to ease the transition, let it slip without grinding too deep.
Soapy water.
And let me steal this piece of tape. I'm going to change my tape from the other side, and I'll go to change this one to the other side too. I'll go at an opposite angle. I came at a 45 this way. This time I'm going to go at a 45 in the opposite direction. I'm moving kind of quick, guys. If you spend a few more seconds doing this, you can get a lot deeper effect out of it. But you can create beveled edge surfaces, things like that, right in your panel. Then when you use the Createx Candy 2.0 products and you go back over that, all this is still going to show. Quarter of a turn, yeah. Let's try to hit it in the middle here. It's a 5,000 grit Trizac sandpaper. You can get it at your local body supply. Just kind of try to hit them.
They put too much pressure or no?
Very little pressure.
He's barely even doing it.
A quarter of a turn, and you can create effects like that all day long. It's very simple, guys. That's what I'm saying, but it all is based on preparing the surface the correct way to the correct grit. This leaves about a 400 grit surface, which is the perfect tooth to spray any paint product, whether it be a urethane or a waterborne. It's the correct tooth to get a mechanical bond out of your paint. I believe Kyle's gonna spray one of these with candy back there in just a second. If you guys want to take a look at it, how the grinds look under the candy as it's sprayed, that'd probably be a good idea.
Yeah, we're just wiping this down with a little bit of lacquer thinner just to get the contaminants out of the aluminum. You kind of see all that dark one there. You want to get that off there before you put your candy on top. Blow it off a little bit. What's up with tack rag? Just want to tack rag it off a little bit, just so there's no dust or debris on there. Lower your pressure a little bit. I always keep it up while I'm blowing the contaminants off, but it'll be around 18 to 25. What's not to like, right? Kind of cool. One coat, done. You can put a couple coats on. It's going to go darker. You might even kind of define some of them marks even more. Although with candy, the more coats you put on, the more it's going to hide your details. So if you can get away with up coat or two, you're good to go. The nice thing about the new Candy 2.0s are you can get that coverage in a few coats and it lays down smooth. One of the characteristics of the waterborne paint, we got to blow air across it the whole time until it's flash dry. We could all walk away and not blow any air on it, but it's going to take a while for it to actually, for that water to come out. Solvent-based paint, you could, right now it would already be dry. Water-based is obviously better for everybody. You, me, the environment, the whole nine. It just takes a little bit more time. If this was sitting out in the sun, it would already be dry, because that heat from the sun, along with that air movement, would kick it real quick. But let's face it, we're not in a race, so it doesn't matter. See, as you move it around, it almost looks like it's moving, just the different passes of the grinder that he made. Kind of has a little bit of a gold leaf look to it. Right.